Today I am honoring my great-uncle Roger Milby because he is a great man and I regret not being able to spend much time with him. 3 reasons he is a great man are: first, his war history; second, his love for his family; and finally, his love and appreciation for life. The first example I'd like to give of my great-uncle is his impressive war history. It all started with his dream of becoming a pilot. He enlisted in the Air Force for 4 years before attending college. After that, he swiftly re-entered the flying world, joining the Kansas Air National Guard while attending the U.S. Air Force pilot training. Soon after that, he was promoted to being a primary flight instructor for the U.S. Air Force, and not long after that, was recalled into active duty. My uncle logged over 10,000 hours of flying time and flew over 596 combat missions in South Vietnam. His job as a pilot was to fly over enemy territory and basically get shot at so that the U.S. Air Force could locate enemy territory and bases. During one of his missions, he actually landed his vessel in enemy territory and drove it on the ground all the way back to the airbase in order to provide cover for and rescue U.S. soldiers that had been captured. This act, as well as many others, are what earned him the medals he has today for his service. The second example I'd like to give of my uncle is his love for his family. For a man that lived a rough life, he was and is the sweetest man I know. Even though I only got to see him maybe once a year, he'd always call to check up on me, see how I was doing, no matter what. Before I had graduated high school, he'd call to see what my plans for the future were, and no matter what I told him, there was always something positive to say. When I told him I wanted to go away for school, he told me that it was great and that I would meet new people, make new friends, and get to see what life on my own was like. When I changed my mind and told him that I was going to stay local and go to school here, he told me, I think that's so smart. The money you'll save is great, and I know you love your family time. It didn't matter. He backed everyone 110%. The third and final example I'd like to give for my uncle is his love and appreciation for life. 6 years ago, he was diagnosed with colon cancer, and at the time was able to beat it. He fell sick earlier this year in July, and after a few tests, they found that his cancer had returned. This time, it was throughout his entire body, all through his lungs, and even down his spine. The doctors gave him a month to live, and my parents and I were swift to go up and visit him. To be honest, I was scared. I was afraid of what he would look like. I was afraid of how he would be feeling, and if he even wanted us to be there. When we walked in, he greeted us with a huge and beautiful smile, and he looked just like the same old man that we've known and loved for years. I stole a lot of everyone's Roger time that day, just talking to him, talking about everyday things, how my brothers were, how school was, if I was dating anyone, and if my father approved. I started crying in the realization that this was the last conversation I'd have with him when I have so much more life to live and discuss. He just smiled and he said, I'm just waiting. I'm ready, and I'm just waiting for God to give me the okay. He was so peaceful in that moment. It was so beautiful, and it made everyone else feel okay. With that statement, he gave everyone else peace with him passing. He passed in his sleep on July 25th of this year. I chose to honor my great-uncle Roger Milby because he is a great man, and I cherish all the memories I have with him. Before we left on the day of our visit, my Uncle Roger hugged me, and he whispered in my ear that he was proud of me to keep being a good girl. That's something that I'll get to have and keep for the rest of my life. Thank you.